Hey everyone, Egman here, and I've got a special guest, my puppy Noodle. Hello, say hi, Noodle. Oh boy. Yeah, there he is. I think he missed me, and hopefully he won't be barking while he's just sitting here on my lap. But, anyways, I've got a deck profile with us, for us today, with few Zamasu. A couple weeks ago, I made a Goku Black deck, and it was, most of the reason I did was because I looked at Heles and like, oh, anyone with a God tag too, and for blue, since blue's so rampant with flute and all the other stuff it can do right now, I said, Goku Black or Fuse Zamasu could be some other leaders you can do. So this time Zamasu, unlike Goku Black, which is more aggressive, I'm going to use this more kind of like a defensive deck, and this is kind of inspired by kind of like the SS3 decks that have been around lately that are just kind of tank up and then do stuff to your, just stall out the game and live pretty much. And Zamasu is really good at that because he gets to have more life technically because of cards on top of his deck. So let's just go over what he does. So you choose one card from your life, place your drop area. If the card placed there was blue, you draw one card. So that's like, let's see, we have 8 non-blue cards. So a pretty high chance to do that. I'd say I rarely do this. The only reason I do this is to if I need to awaken. If I'm at 3 life and I need to awaken, I do that. Otherwise, don't use this as much because we're trying to stall out the game. And then the flip side is so he awakens at 2, which is really unique, and he draws 2. And then at that side, if you get damage inflicted to you, so not like Tapion. Tapion, place, you choose up the card and send them or add them to your hand. That's not inflicting damage. But for other things, you can place the top 5 cards from your deck and drop area instead of taking the damage. And when this card attacks, you draw a card. So very cool. It lets you use your deck as a resource and just extend your life a little bit longer, so your opponent can't be too aggressive on you, and then you can set up. So let's start off with the 1-drops. So we have Goten is just our only 1-drop. I'm not running Boo because he's at least, so this is the first incarnation of this deck, and I've played a little bit on tap and it's doing pretty well. I'm not running Boo because as much as drawing cards is good, I don't want to diminish my deck and my life resource later in the game. So I'm only running 1. Next up and is West Supreme Kai. This is the one that barrier, and you can play it, and then you can tap it for energy as if it was blue energy. So that's really powerful. We're trying to ramp up, and since we're running mono blue essentially, this card's really good, so we don't have to worry about objection being dead in our hand. We're running 4 Unyielding Spirit Trunks. This might be too many. I might go down to 3, but since we don't untap on our turn, it's kind of important to make sure that we have at least like 1 floating energy for either Bean, Gohan, Negate, something like that. So I'm running 4 of those right now. Could go down to 3. This card's a little bit more experimental. I'm running this card because I can, or feasibly can, right? Because he's 3 blue energy specifically. And then if your leader is Zamasu or Goku Black, which ours is, you can play 2 shadow tokens. So you play this card and you get a free super combo on top of that. So that's really powerful. Yeah, and you can also flute him back, and then you can get more you can play him again and get more tokens. So that's why I'm running that card. This could potentially go down to like 3 or 2. I don't play it super often, but it is really nice. Especially since like Kale's not really being played right now, so the tokens can't be destroyed very easily. And he has barrier himself, so that is nice. Next we have O's Power Tapion. I really like this card, especially in this deck. So you can take 1 or 2 for energy, or you can take 1 or 2 damage with this card, and that just really helps set up for getting down to 2 or less, 2 or 1 life with Zamasu. There aren't a lot of triple attackers out there right now, but if you're running against GT, you really don't want to go down to 3 life. So you can sit at 4 and then use Tapion to awaken, and that just helps a bunch. So, and then his ability is super good to, just put a card on top of your opponent's deck that just ruins their draw, gets rid of a card on the field, and I think it's super powerful. So 4 of him. You can also flute him back and use his effect again later in the game. Son Gohan, just because he's our 1K combo. He's since we will have a bit of floating energy on turn 2 and 3. He's really good. You can also still flute him back. And let me just talk about flute, I guess, real quick, because we've gone through all the targets. And I guess you can do this too. Hello, Noodle. So you get to draw. When you put your card back, you get to draw a card, and that's powerful. But we also, even though we have a good amount of targets, most of them that are really beneficial to us are 3 cost, right? And so I don't see myself using flute a super bunch. If you really like flute and you want to put them to 4, take out a Goku Black, I guess. But I'm okay with sitting at 3 right now, and or you could take out an unyielding Spirit Trunks too. But yeah, I've been okay with that with 3. Next up is the new awe-inspiring Intimidator SSB Vegito. So this is kind of like him and Bergamo are kind of synonymous in the sense that, so if your leader card is blue and this card is in rest mode, it gains barrier, and your cards can't attack your leader card. So that includes your opponent's leader can't attack your leader card. So and also when you play this card, if you have 5 or more energy, draw a card. So that's you can't do that, but you know how I feel about drawing in this deck. So so that's really powerful. Unlike Bergamo, he doesn't gain plus 5k power every turn, but he does get he does a barrier, so they can't just dimensional banish or foo it away. I think people are going to be running more removal after seeing how important that is still right now. So I'm running Vegito. If you want to do, I've seen some people do the hey buddy, the 2-2 split of Vegitos and Bergamos. That's totally really powerful. One thing I would say is try to make sure that you have a bean for him. Just because the 5k is persistent and it will stay on him for the entirety of the turn. That's really powerful. And yeah, I like this card. I think it's good, especially for a controlling matchup. So next up we have Beerus. He's one of our 2 finishers. And what I mean finisher is that we can stall out the game a little bit, but we also have to make sure that we don't like deck ourselves out with our leader and stuff. So he's really powerful. Double strike, destroying cards from your opponent's hand. Just really good. We have Heles, our super combo, which I talked about earlier. It is a bit dangerous that she draws 2 instead of drawing 1, but I think it's fine, especially since our card draw right now is pretty meager. So I think she's just powerful. And then for our overwhelm, we're running 2 Dimensional Banisher Fu and 2 Fu Shrouded in Mystery. This one's just really good for standard removal. Getting things off the board is nice. And then this is also our other finisher. So since we kind of stall out, and since we can cheat energy with Supreme Kai and such, and also the fact that we just fill our overwhelm whenever we take damage, which is really helpful. Or fill our discards. I'd say Fu's really good for finishing out the game unexpectedly, since they can't activate blockers, negates our super combos, and he's a 30k double strike. That's really powerful, and this has finished me in the game a couple times. So this is the main deck. Let me just talk about. I don't really have a sideboard hashed out right now, but I do have a couple cards that I thought about and are like honorable mentions too. So and I missed. Let me get it. So first, I kind of talked about Bergamo. This one, Treated Danger. This one's just really good. If you don't have the ultimate box, get this. Though I guess if you have this deck, you should have the ultimate box. But if you didn't buy it and you didn't get singles for Vegito, you can put this card in. Just be careful about barrier cards, or cards that blow stuff up. Next up is let me read this. Okay, can't attack your leader card. So if you have 2 of these out, they can't, it's not a lock. So if you want a lock, you can get 2 of these out. Next up is Joyful Strike Goku Black Rose. So this card is also really good at finishing, and it actually combos with Fu very well. So you inflict 2 damage to yourself. So it is inflict, so you can discard the top 10, and you get to untap all your energy, or switch 6 back, so you can play him, untap, then play Fu, all in the same turn, and your opponents, they're pretty, you know, that can be a pretty good finisher. But I kind of felt like this is a win more card instead of like a necessary, so it's in the side right now. Dragon Fist, Son Goku, this card's been getting a lot of hype with it just because it removes cards with barrier. It has double strike, and it untaps 2 of your energy. I might put this in the main deck. If you don't like Fu or you can't buy it, get this. I'd put this card in it. It's really powerful. Another card I kind of tinkered around with is this Gotenks. So he's really neat. So he is critical, and during your main, you can put him into your drop pair. You get to add a Sun Goten and a Trunks. So you got to add these 2 into your deck. From your deck to your hand. And hey buddy. And then you also get to untap 2 energy. So pretty much you get to attack for critical. So that's pretty much a free attack. And then untap 2 energy, and then you can add, with that Goten that you add, you'll pretty much add a blocker to the field. So I think that's really powerful. I don't know if I didn't really find a space for him in this deck for me, but it's something I've been considering. Next up is the Zamasu. I didn't really put him in. So he's if you have Zamasu Goku Black and you have 5 more energy, you can inflict 2 damage to your life. If you do so, just the 4 energy and switch into active mode. Yeah, I don't. He's kind of like the same thing as Goku Black, but he comes out 2 turns earlier. But it's just indestructible. It's not a lot of pressure. And I definitely side him if you're having if you're finding that your opponent won't awaken you very easily, you can play this card. But yeah, it's weird, and it's weird that it's the 5 or more energy tag too. I'm not sure why it's 5 or more instead of 6 or more, because Rose just says without an energy restriction. So whatever. Mafuba for sure goes in your sideboard. Since we're running mono blue, this is super powerful. And can help you out in a lot of matchups. And then I just looked at this card. It's kind of neat. If you play this card, it just ruins your opponent's draw next turn. And it's barrier, which is nice. I didn't really find room in the main deck, but I thought he was neat, so I put him in there on just a consideration honorable mention spot. So this is the deck. Let me know what you guys think. I definitely think there's room for improvements and switching cards around. So yeah, please give me your comments, and I will catch you guys next time. Isn't that right, Noodle? You've been such a good boy. Look at him. Look at this guy. Noodle, look at the camera. Look at the camera. Look, there it is. Oh, there you are. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.